Oh, start talking.
Yeah.
Now they're taking a picture. Okay, so you ask, in terms of, why is data collection important? How does it affect the decisions we make? In the natural resource world, one of the things you have to recognize is that there's not social consensus on what the right answers are, whether we should have wolves, whether we shouldn't have wolves. There's a lot of conflict around the issues. Data can be very, very helpful in navigating those conversations, because now you have a conversation that's grounded in reality rather than ideology. So it can be very helpful in that regard. And then in the budget context, the state's been in an incredibly tight budget for the last 8 years, and you're competing for resources within the agency or across the state. You're competing for resources. So how do you get access to those resources? You need to have information. You need to have data that justifies why your need exists, why it's important, why solving it brings a benefit. But that brings up, the other half of the story. Data only gets you so far. Data in itself is actually not worth much. It's using the data to tell a story that is compelling, that draws people in, that connects to the value of what the work you're doing is, that makes the data meaningful. You have to have the data. Without the data, you don't have anything. But then in terms of using it well, you really need to go one step further and turn it into a story that draws people in. Second question you asked about how it connects to the agency purpose. We use data all the time in our business decisions. How much money do we have? How much money do we have left? How much of it have we spent? And that frames all of our decisions about what we can do, what we can't do. In terms of how effectively we work as an agency to use data, I think it varies quite a bit. When I look internally within our program, the wildlife or the licensing program, they do a great job of taking data about our customers, the people who buy hunting and fishing licenses, and using that to figure out ways that we can better serve our customers. It's a very data-driven process. Our IT shop does a good job of looking at the various costs of IT systems and alternatives and using data to make a decision that helps meet the agency's business needs but at the lowest cost possible. So that works really well. Where I don't see it working as well is when we have cross-agency, cross-programmatic conversations where when people don't like what you're saying, they'll argue about your data. So the data works really smoothly in that environment of trust, but when you get into a broader environment where there are competing interests, the data doesn't necessarily help you because people will argue about the data and whether it's good.